Exercise your mind with 36 classic checkmate techniques in Chinese chess. First technique. Trap to death. All of the opponent's pieces are immobilized and cannot move, leading them to lose the game. Next example, the combination of the red chariot and central cannon immobilizes all possible moves for black, and now black cannot make any move without red being able to capture black's general on the next move. Red wins. 2. Face-to-face checkmate, also known as smiling death or white-face general, utilizing the rule that the generals cannot directly face each other on the same file to deliver checkmate. 3. Knight at the throat. The knight is positioned at the opponent's throat, 3rd or 7th file, to checkmate. Here the red horse advances into the 7th file to checkmate. The 6th file is guarded by the black cannon, hence the corner knight check on red's 6th file will not work here. 4. Corner knight checkmate. The knight is positioned at the edge of the palace to deliver checkmate. Here the other edge of the palace is guarded by the black chariot. 5. Diagonal knight checkmate. The knight and the opposing general are diagonally across from each other in the palace, and with support from other pieces, their opponent is checkmated. 6. The spring knight checkmate. The knight leverages on the rook's position to deliver a discovered checkmate. Once the rook moves to capture the advisor, the knight does a discover check on black's king, causing a checkmate. 7. Fishing knight checkmate. The knight is positioned at the opponent's defensive knight's position, a screen horse setup to support red's pawn or chariot to capture the advisor at the back rank to checkmate. 8. High fishing knight checkmate, also known as the side tiger checkmate. The knight is positioned to move into the opponent's 3rd or 7th pawn starting position, controlling the general's movement, with other rook finishing the checkmate. Here, red rook checks. If black king moves up, red knight will follow up with a check at red's 7th file, then black king moves up, then red rook moves back 2 steps to checkmate. Hence, in the previous position, black needs to sacrifice an elephant to delay the checkmate. Red captures the elephant with a check. Black king moves up. Red follows up and check with the knight advancing to the 7th file. Black king moves up. Red rook cannot check from the 6th file because black's advisor is guarding that point. So, red moves back the rook 2 steps to check. Black general retreats. Red rook can now move to the side by 1 step, causing a discover check by the knight. Then red rook advances and follows up with a back rank checkmate. 9. Double knight string from the fountain. One knight controls the enemy general's retreat, while the other knight joins it to deliver a double knight checkmate. After red knight takes the elephant with a discover check, the black king can move either into center or to move up. Both points will eventually lead to a checkmate by red's horse due to its perfect central position. If black king moves up, red knight retreats to the 7th file and checkmate. In the next position, black now has a rook guarding its 7th file, which slightly increases the difficulty for red to perform double knight's drink from the fountain. Here the black king cannot move up, or red will mate in 1 with knight retreating to 7th file. So the black king must move back to the center. Red horse cannot checkmate from the throat position due to the black rook. Instead, red horse checks again at the previous point at red's 7th file, gaining tempo, while removing black's elephant and getting back to the previous position. Red knight then retreats from the 7th file to the 6th file with a discovered check. Black king cannot move up due to mate in 1 by red knight advancing from the 6th to the 8th file, so black king has to go back to the center again, moving back to the previous position. Now without the elephant, the red king supports the knight leading to corner palace checkmate, as black's advisor is now pinned by red's king. 10. Cannon behind the knight checkmate. The knight serves as a cannon base, and with a 1-step gap between the knight and the general, delivers checkmate. In the following position, red has a chance to perform the cannon behind the horse checkmate. The central cannon has cut off the path of black's king, preventing black retreating to safety. Red's horse or knight can check black's king by moving to black's second or third file. Here, the former needs to be moved. Black king can only move up to avoid the check. Now red cannon moves to the ninth file, preparing to checkmate. At this point, due to black's king being blocked by his own advisor, there is nothing further that can be done to avoid red's cannon advancing 3 steps leading to cannon behind the horse checkmate. Here is another example. The red king has blocked black's general from moving his 4th file, while the central cannon pins black's advisor. Red horse now moves to the palace corner to check, following up with a cannon behind the horse checkmate. 11. Rook knight cold move. The knight and rook, or pawn, work together in a series of forced moves, leading to checkmate. The red rook gives a check from the back rank. If black now moves back the advisor to block, it will lead to the corner palace horse check, followed by rook moving back 1 step to checkmate immediately. This means that in the previous position, black needs to sacrifice the elephant, which is a better move. Red now take the elephant and forces black to move back his advisor to block. From here, red has a couple of moves which will not key to victory. For instance, taking the black pawn will slow down red's attack on the black palace and even end up losing the game. Taking the advisor with the rook with a check. Black king will move up and red now doesn't have follow-through moves to win the game. From the previous position, the correct move is to take the advisor with the knight instead of with the rook. If black moves up the advisor or carelessly moves a pawn, the knight here is able to retreat to 7th file, leading to a fishing knight checkmate after rook takes advisor. So in this position black king tries to escape by moving up to avoid the fishing knight checkmate. However, red checks with the rook and black king can only move down due to the knight, which has cut off black general's escape route to the rooftop of the palace. Red then moves the knight back to 7th file and goes for the fishing knight checkmate again. Black cannot block with his left advisor as it will fall into the same fishing trap. However, if black tries to move the king to the 4th file, this sets up the spring horse for red, whereby red rook moves to the center of the palace with discover checkmate. 12. Standing knight, rook checkmate, white horse hoof checkmate. The rook, or pawn, forces the opponent's middle advisor to drop, allowing the knight to deliver checkmate from the corner. After black king moves up, red simply checkmates with his rook. 13. Double cannon checkmate. 2 cannons stacked together check the opponent and deliver checkmate. Red has both cannons aiming at black's king. After red moves away the center horse, black is checkmated. 14. Suffocated palace checkmate. A lone cannon takes advantage of the opponent's double advisors or other pieces, blocking the general's escape. Here is another example where black's elephant is pinned by the red central cannon, and its own advisors cannot move out of the way in time to avoid checkmate. 15. Blocked general checkmate. Sacrificing pieces to block the opponent's pieces from allowing the general to escape, leading to checkmate. Red's rook checks the black king, forcing the black knight to retreat. Red's other rook then pins the knight. Red wins, since black has no more legal moves. Here is another example. If red makes a careless move and allows the black rook to check from the 6th file, the game could get tricky. Instead, the correct move here is to sacrifice red rook by capturing the advisor. Black cannot move out the general due to red king. Black's rook has to take the red rook. Red then moves up the cannon, claiming all the space which black needs to breathe, resulting in a smarter checkmate as black has no more legal moves left. 16. Iron Gate Checkmate. The cannon controls the central file, while the rook or pawn checkmates from the bottom or back rank, supported by the king. 17. Cannon Crushing Red Sand. The rook uses the cannon's positioning to sweep through the opponent's advisors and elephants, leading to checkmate. Red checks with rook and black has to block with the rook. Red then follows up with a cannon check, with the support from the red rook. Black cannot take the cannon, or red rook will recapture, resulting in the Iron Gate checkmate. Instead, black rook has to move up. Red cannon then sweeps the back rank of black, uncovering checks from the red rook and eventually resulting in a checkmate. (18) Rook Cannon Clamp Checkmate. Two cannons and a rook gather on one side to deliver a heavy cannon and rook checkmate. First, red checks with the cannon. Black king retreats to avoid double cannon checkmate if black decides to move down the advisor. Red rook follows up with a check, getting into position and forces black king to move down again, as the point above is attacked by the red cannon. Red then prepares his other cannon to check into position. This forces black to move up the advisor and leads to a double cannon checkmate. (19) Rook Cannon Rolling Checkmate. The rook and cannon alternate attacks, ultimately checkmating the opponent. After red cannon checks from the back rank, the black king cannot move up, or it will be made in one by any of red's rook. So black, in this position, has no choice but to move away the advisor. Red follows up with a series of checks to bring both rooks into attacking position. Being in a dangerous position, as black has moves to checkmate as well, red should not waste tempo on non-checking moves. Here red has a move to sacrifice one rook, which requires both red rooks getting into their position first. After the sacrifice, it will result in a checkmate for black no matter how black responds. (20) Rook Cannon Pull Checkmate. The rook pulls away the opponent's elephant, creating a suffocated palace checkmate. 21. Three pieces return to the side. Three different types of pieces converge on one side, resulting in strong attacking combination and tactics to deliver checkmate. Here red threatens to checkmate by attacking the black's exposed wing. Black has to respond by moving down the advisor. Next, red moves his cannon to the left as well, creating a combination of attacks, resulting in checkmate no matter how black responds. Here is another example. Red creates an attack by continuous checking the black general, with the rook and cannon, supported by the horse, all on the undefended left side of the board, resulting in a checkmate. If black moves back the advisor, this will result in the standing knight rook checkmate, which is the 12th technique in this video. Hence, black has to sacrifice the elephant first to put up a stronger defense. However, red will continue to follow up with continuous checking combinations, leading to a checkmate. Here is another example of three pieces returned to the side using the rook, horse, and cannon, resulting in a checkmate no matter how black responds. You may slow or pause the video to think of the solution to this game. Red sacrifices the rook and forces Black King to move down one step, as Red King is controlling the sixth file. The result is the classic cannon behind the horse checkmate. Here's another example of Red's perfectly positioned rook, cannon and horse. On the first move, Red sacrifices all his pieces to Black's rook, allowing Black to pick Red's poison. You may take your time to figure out what happens next. If Black takes horse, it will result in the iron gate checkmate. If Black rook takes cannon, it will result in knight at the throat checkmate. If Black rook takes the red rook, it will result in the corner palace knight check, followed by cannon behind the horse checkmate. (22) Flat-topped crown checkmate. The open cannon is supported by two rooks, or pawns, on the throat line, delivering checkmate. 23. Scooping the moon from the sea. The rook and cannon checkmate the opponent's lone rook, after using the cannon from the base of the opponent's palace. In this game, Black tries to prevent Red from moving his cannon to the left side of the board. Can you think of a solution to overcome this? The solution for Red to continue with his attack is to have Red hide his cannon behind his own rook. After Red give a check, Red can use the tempo to move his cannon to other side of the board. Now, Red continues with his plan to scoop the moon from the sea, eventually resulting in a win for Red as Black is unable to stop the attack combination. (24) Central file cannon checkmate. One cannon controls the central file, and another controls the side file, leading to checkmate. 25. Piercing heart checkmate. The rook, or pawn, takes out the middle advisor, leaving the bottom line exposed for checkmate. (26) Double rooks cross checkmate. The two rooks alternate positions, securing checkmate. 27. Heaven and earth cannon checkmate. One cannon controls the central file, while the other cannon is positioned at the bottom, delivering a coordinated checkmate. 28. Open cannon checkmate. A cannon controls the opponent's general and other pieces, working with others to deliver checkmate. Here, If red attacks on the fourth file, red's attacks will be hindered by black's 2 knights. Instead, red moves his cannon forward, facing black's king. This is a crucial move, as the black king and both advisors are immobilized. Subsequently, red moves his cannons to deliver a double cannon checkmate, while black's knights will be too far away to prevent his demise. (29) In and out of the cave, the rook moves back and forth within the palace, forcing checkmate. (30) Double threat checkmate. 2 pieces check simultaneously, leaving the opponent unable to block both. (31) 3-step pawn checkmate, or Buddha returns to the temple. The pawn, supported by other pieces, continuously pushes the opponent's general back to its original position for checkmate. (32) Little Ghost strangles the throat. A pawn, or rook, occupies the opponent's throat line, and other pieces deliver checkmate. In this game, black cannon retreats to defend red pawn from checkmate. Red cannon moves down to set up another attack with double cannons. Black elephant cannot take red cannon, as red can advance soldier on the 3rd file and checkmate black. Reluctantly, black tries to block with the cannon. However, red sacrifices his soldier, forcing black cannon to capture it. Red then moves his cannon to the central file, protected by the center soldier, avoiding black's elephant. On the next move, red will checkmate black with double cannon. (33) 2 ghosts knock on the door. 2 pawns, or rooks, occupy the throat line, forcefully breaking through the opponent's advisors to secure victory. After rook moves from 9th to 6th file, it threatens a checkmate by capturing the advisor. Black has to move up his left advisor. Red then captures the advisor with his 2nd file rook. No matter how black responds, red will move his other rook to deliver the final checkmate. 34) Little Ghost sits on the dragon throne. A pawn, or rook, occupies the center of the opponent's palace, and other pieces deliver checkmate. 35) 3 rooks attack the advisors. 2 rooks and a pawn, or 1 rook and 2 pawns, or 3 pawns, forcefully break through the opponent's double advisors for victory. 36) All pawn searches the mountain. An all pawn at the back rank, supported only by the king and knight, delivers checkmate after capturing most or all of the opponent's pieces. Here black can only move his advisors, as other pieces are blocked by red or his own pieces. Black is unable to stop red's old pawn from capturing the elephant and the horse. Black is soon forced to give up another advisor, and after another series of maneuvering, Black has to give up all his pieces, eventually leading to a win for Red. If you have made it here, thanks for watching and feel free to support this or my other channels.